Protesters say they aren't happy with Governor Herbert's new statewide mask mandate. What doctors warn could happen if people don't start taking these mandates seriously.
Plus, a massive house fire in Harriman sends one person to the hospital. What firefighters want you to know ahead of Thanksgiving.
And he was the voice behind so many games for Utes fans across several generations. Tonight, hear how people are remembering legendary broadcaster Bill Marcroft.
And temperatures on the rise as we warm things up. But is it the warm before our next storm? I'll let you know in the forecast.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13 News at 9 starts right now.
Our top story tonight, both Governor Gary Herbert and Governor-elect Spencer Cox had protesters right outside their homes demanding an end to the statewide mask mandate. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm Amy Nay.
And I'm Brian Schnee. Fox 13's Sydney Glenn joins us on Utah's Capitol Hill. She spoke with doctors who are begging people to comply and warn what could happen if people do not.
Doctors and scientists agree one of the most effective tools in slowing the spread of COVID-19 is wearing a mask. They say they're worried about the people who refuse to do so, as hospitals are already starting to implement surge plans here in Utah.
After months of pressure from both sides, Governor Gary Herbert made a major announcement last week.
I am placing the entire state of Utah under a mask mandate until further notice.
Now, 1 week later, some people are not so happy about it. Here you can see dozens of people protesting at the governor's Orem home. And then this tweet from Governor-elect Spencer Cox shows he had protesters as well. Protesters who are demanding an end to the mask mandate.
If the population who is not masking and distancing does not start doing that, I'm very fearful as to where we're going to be in a couple of months.
The associate medical director for Intermountain Medical Center says they've already started implementing part of their emergency COVID-19 plan.
In the last week, we've had to use part of that plan that we hoped we would never have to use.
More staff has been hired, but more COVID patients are coming.
What I really, want to share is how hard our teams are working. This is incredibly, incredibly hard work.
The latest COVID-19 numbers shows Utah's COVID-19 positive rate is almost 1 in 4.
But at this point in time, we just need to really think about how this is impacting everyone.
While the debate over mask mandates continues from protesters, doctors hope people will do what they can because there could be real consequences if they don't.
There's a big chunk of the community that's been doing everything they can, and without that part of the population, I don't know where we would be right now.
We spoke with Orem police today, who tell us they don't anticipate bringing charges against any of these protesters, despite a new ordinance being passed this week in Orem, making it illegal for anyone to target someone's home during a demonstration. On the Hill, Sydney Glenn, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Today, Utah saw another 2,600 new COVID-19 cases, bringing the total to nearly 154,000. Our 7-day rolling average is just under 3,000 daily cases with a positive percentage rate of 24%. There are 484 COVID-19 patients currently hospitalized.
8 more Utahns lost their lives to the virus today. 6 men and 2 women. All but one were over the age of 65, except for one man who was between the ages of 45 and 64. They were from Cache, Salt Lake, Utah, Washington, and Weber counties. So far, 718 people have died due to COVID-19 here in Utah.
Tomorrow, the Navajo Nation will bring back its stay-home lockdown order for the entire reservation due to rising COVID-19 cases.
Now, that means all schools will operate online, travel and in-person gatherings will be restricted, and only essential businesses may remain open, and only from 7 a.m. until 3 p.m. Tribal officials reported 172 new cases yesterday and warned of uncontrolled spread on the reservation.
Well, we're hopefully having our local officials and leadership and also our community members holding each other accountable. There's only so much resources the Navajo Nation has to enforce these public health emergency orders, but we've done it before.
This latest lockdown comes after months of 56-hour weekend curfews every weekend.
The virus also affecting our local schools. There are 542 active COVID-19 cases in the Jordan School District right now. Harriman, Riverton, and West Jordan High School all starting virtual learning tomorrow. They do expect to be back in class November 30th. And in the Weber School District, Orion Junior High School in Harrisville will also start online instruction tomorrow for 2 weeks.
In Davis County, Farmington, Davis, Bountiful, Layton, Viewmont, and Woods Cross high schools are all going virtual starting tomorrow. They too anticipate a November 30th return date to in-person instruction. And Provo High School moving to phase 1 tomorrow. That means students with last names A through K will go in person on Monday and Wednesday, while those L through Z with last names will attend on Tuesday and Thursdays. The school plans to keep this schedule through Thanksgiving break and return to phase 2 with more in-person classes on November 30th.
Well, some sad news to report for you tonight. Iconic broadcaster known as the voice of the University of Utah, Bill Marcroft, has passed away. Starting with men's basketball, the 89-year-old did play-by-play announcing for the school's basketball and football teams from 1966 until 2005. Marcroft received the University of Utah's Distinguished Alumnus Award in 2005 at the U's Founders Day and the Distinguished Service Award in 2014 from the Utah Sports Hall of Fame Foundation. Utah football coach Kyle Whittingham released a statement that said in part, quote, "He was an icon of Utah athletics for so many years and leaves an incredible legacy behind. Sending love to his family. He will be greatly missed." The University of Utah men's basketball coach Larry Kristoviak tweeted in part, "We lost a great man with a great voice. You were a gentleman and a great sportsman."
New at 9, a scary afternoon for a Harriman family. An outdoor grill fire sending massive flames that you can see here into the air, setting a Harriman home on fire. Around 4 this afternoon, crews were called to 13,000 block of South Timeless Court. Now, crews believe a grill caught the home's deck on fire, which then spread to the home. Remarkable video here. One person who was cooking on the grill was taken to the hospital with burns on their hands and face.
We just want to remind everybody as we near Thanksgiving to be mindful of how we're cooking. Obviously, we're going to be doing our cooking. We love the food that we make and love the festivities that come along with that. But just be mindful, especially when we're doing turkey as well. There's a lot of hazards that come along with cooking turkeys, especially if you're going to do it outside on the deck.
Fire crews saved the family dog that was trapped in the basement during the fire.
Tonight, there's a small memorial in place for the victims of the deadly shooting that took place in the Glendale neighborhood in Salt Lake City this weekend. Several balloons, candles, and flowers were placed in front of a home on the 900 block of Emory Street. Now, last night, that area was one of 3 different crime scenes. This all stemmed from a confrontation between 2 groups of people, one in a car, the other people walking in the neighborhood. At least 2 people were shot. One of them pronounced dead at the scene, the other driving away for help. Last night, we spoke with one man who says he tried to help until paramedics and police arrived.
From the wounds I seen, I couldn't see no blood, so I was thinking, I'm not a doctor, but I was thinking it was bleeding inside, so I just held on and just try to keep him awake and calm.
It takes as long as it takes. We, of course, have our allied agencies that assist us, the medical examiner's office.
Everything says They're still looking for tips from the public, though. If you have any information that can help investigators, they'd like you to call Salt Lake City Police.
3 women were taken to the hospital after a fight inside of a Draper home, which resulted in a stabbing. The attack happened on the 1200 block of South Emerald Peak Court. Police tell us one woman who lived in the home got mad at her roommate and a friend and stabbed both of them with a knife. Both victims and the attacker were taken to the hospital. None of the injuries are life-threatening.
Now to news involving the man that infamously pointed a bow and arrow at people during riots that broke out here in Salt Lake, all in response to the death of George Floyd back in May. Now, he is set to be sentenced tomorrow. 58-year-old Brandon McCormick pleaded guilty in September to possession of a dangerous weapon by a restricted person and aggravated assault. It was in May that McCormick told Fox 13 News his car was flipped over and he was attacked by protesters during the frenzy after he says he yelled, "All lives matter." The charges McCormick faces carry a maximum penalty of up to 5 years behind bars.
Switching gears to your weather now, take a look at this gorgeous time-lapse video from our Oquirrh Mountain camera. We saw a few snowstorms this past week. How's the week ahead going to look? That's the big question.
Yeah, meteorologist Breck Fulton joins us now with a look at our first alert weather forecast, hoping for some milder weather. We've seen our taste of winter so far.
Oh, we have. We began to see a little bit of a break today, even though across northern Utah, holding on to the clouds, the color scheme not as beautiful until we got to sunset. Really, in the morning, we saw these colors. We saw the reds, the oranges, highlighting it here tonight. I don't know, red in the morning, red at night. What does that do for sailors? Well, delightful warning? I don't know. There's nothing to warn you about. These storms moving on, and really as we look at the weather forecast, at least to start the work week off, I definitely would classify it as delightful. Now, temperatures today above normal, returning to the 50s along the Wasatch Front, where on average we should be right at 50 degrees. And this is a sign of things to come in that a warming trend on tap for us. Now, as we look towards Provo, we got a high of 45 degrees there, close to 60 degrees in Delta, cracking into the 60s as you look from Milford through Cedar City. It looks like in St. George, you topped off at 62 degrees. Looking across the state, as we saw, central, southern, eastern Utah throughout today, we had clear skies, enjoying the sunshine. We're going to keep skies clear for tonight. Northern Utah, you're still seeing some clouds. Now, throughout the day, we've been seeing some light showers, and especially as we move throughout the day, it was rain in extreme northern Utah, snow over the higher terrain. Very isolated, maybe a sprinkle still lingering here as we look across Cache County, but all in all, these clouds are moving away. Partly cloudy skies tonight. Overnight lows in the upper 30s. Starting off, we get some sunshine across northern Utah. Yeah, we're going to like this forecast. Is there anything to change us and bring us back to winter? I'll let you know coming up.
It's a gut punch. I mean, we're talking about hundreds of folks who were taken from us from violence.
A touching display for those in the transgender community in Utah's capital city. Coming up, hear about the significance behind these flags in front of the Salt Lake City and County building.
Plus, Rocky Mountain Power has some big plans for one plot of land in Salt Lake City, how it could be a game changer for people on the west side of the city.
And we're now less than 2 weeks away from one of the biggest shopping holidays of the year, Black Friday. But some people getting their shopping done this weekend. Black Friday looking a little different this time around. See how the pandemic has changed things when we return.
Today, 320 flags were planted at the Salt Lake City and County building in a touching tribute to transgender people who were murdered around the world this year. This is just one of many events planned in the city for Transgender Awareness Week. Transgender education advocates of Utah are teaming up with Project Rainbow and other partners around the state to create events aimed at raising transgender awareness and helping people in the community.
Each one of these flags is a person who was lost to violence. It's a kick in the gut. It's sad. It just underscores how much trans folks need our community to come together and look out for us.
The flags will be displayed all week. Other events planned for the week include a virtual job fair and a virtual memorial planned for this Friday, which is the Transgender Day of Remembrance. We have a link to the virtual memorial on fox13now.com. Some big changes are on the way for a large area of Salt Lake City. Rocky Mountain Power is planning to develop 100 acres of land.
You can see on this map the development extends from North Temple south to Interstate 80 and then Redwood Road east to the Jordan River. Fox 13's John Franke explains how it could help revitalize the city's west side.
This has been traditionally kind of an industrial part of town.
For decades, this area of Salt Lake City has been somewhat of an eyesore. A legacy as old as the city itself.
The first pioneers, their first landfill was on this site.
Rocky Mountain Power wants to give 100 acres of this industrial land a makeover.
Developers have been interested in this property for a long time.
The time for developers to do their work is now. Rocky Mountain Power is collaborating with city and state leaders to build a new corporate headquarters flanked by homes, businesses, and restaurants on the site.
Redeveloping this area is going to be transformational for the west side of Salt Lake City.
The land is on the south side of North Temple and sits between the airport and downtown Salt Lake. It's one of the first areas visitors see as they head into the city.
It's going to be a real opportunity to develop one of the most important corridors into Salt Lake City.
Rocky Mountain Power believes the importance of this project goes well beyond the looks. One benefit is how it could enhance the quality of life.
Several aspects of the neighborhood are going to be greatly improved for cycling, for walking, access to the river.
The power company also envisions a beneficial impact on the environment.
We want it to be kind of a model of sustainability. We want it to show what the future is going to look like.
And the project may help you save money on your energy bill.
By using this site that is so valuable, we'll be able to bring in a lot of money, and that will be passed on to customers.
Utah is changing every day. As the state grows, developments like this are greatly reshaping the landscape.
It should really show off the mountains. It should show off the things that we do and give people a place to live and work that really shows off our city in the right way.
Rocky Mountain Power expects to have a project team in place by May of 2021, but it could be a couple of years until we see some major changes on this site. In Salt Lake City, John Franke, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Thanks so much, John. Well, the holiday shopping season has already begun as many retailers roll out Black Friday deals and other promotions early. Now, we caught up with some folks who were getting their shopping done at City Creek in Salt Lake City this weekend.
It's just different. It's really, really weird. It's just been like really different.
Holiday shopping during the pandemic is different, with mask requirements, social distancing, and store capacities often resulting in long lines.
The capacities in each store, it really makes you prioritize where you want to go and where you want to spend your money so that you really are shopping for other people and not just looking around.
Savannah Travis and fellow student Caroline Gibbs spoke to us from City Creek Saturday, where they were doing a little Christmas shopping.
We make it fun, yeah. We're definitely able to enjoy it more because it is such a, we're realizing that it isn't always guaranteed.
Some say limited hours and unexpected closures have been frustrating.
We were trying to go to H&M, and outside of the H&M there was a little paper that said they're closed until the 16th, I think is what it was. So it's just been really unpredictable.
Isaac and Maya, like so many others, say the pandemic has pushed most of their shopping online.
There's not really a lot of motivation to go to a brick and mortar store because I know it's going to be a lesser experience than it would normally be.
It's a lot less stressful because we're doing a lot online. I think just trying to get it done earlier so we can take advantage of online stores being in stock.
Recent surveys show the average American is expected to spend about $100 less this season than last year. But for Caroline and Savannah, they say this current crisis has actually helped them put it all in perspective.
I think it's definitely made me realize what's actually most important to me. Just with, all the shutdowns and things like that, not having everything we're used to readily available. I'm realizing this season it should be more of a focus on the people you love and not necessarily all the busyness of shopping and all the material things.
Well, Breck, the people in that video looked a little chilly. Will we see a warm-up to start the week here compared to we were last week when the snow moved in?
Well, we were experiencing winter last week. Temperatures below normal. Had 3 storms, yes, that brought snow. A lot of it up in the mountains, but of course we got snow down here. Now, over the weekend, we've been seeing some improvements. Still holding on to some clouds today, but temperatures did climb. The official high in Salt Lake City, 53 degrees. I mentioned the average high for this time of year, 50. Record for today, 73 degrees. We're not heading back into the 70s, but the 60s would feel nice. Yeah, we're going to see a chance of that here along the Wasatch Front. We're moving towards a warming trend. Still some clouds around as we give you a view from our Old Mill camera. 44 degrees right now in Salt Lake City. Winds out of the west-northwest, fairly light. As temperatures overnight above normal, we'll hang on to some clouds, but those clouds will quickly thin out, and we actually wake up with some sunshine. Now, throughout the month, yes, these storms helping out with the snowpack, helping us trying to get out of this drought situation that we're experiencing across the state. Now, for Salt Lake City, so far this month, we've picked up just over 0.6 of an inch of precipitation, a combination of rain and snow. On average, up to this point, the middle of November, we should be about 3/4 of an inch. So we're getting a little bit behind, which is just not good news. We've had now a string of 5 months with precipitation below normal. And our goal here for the month is to get up to about 1.5 inches as we look towards the end of November. So drought situation, this area, we're in an exceptional category. This is just not good news as this area is increasing with this dark maroon. from Utah County down through central Utah, down through south central Utah. The rest of the state under extreme drought conditions. A little better turning towards northern Utah, but still a moderate concern even as we turn towards the northern mountains, where we've been still getting a little bit of snow up in the mountains of northern Utah with a disturbance rolling through. Some lingering, maybe light showers, still a possibility through Cache Valley, Box Elder County, but this disturbance moving on, clouds pushing away, high pressure building in. We like to get this as far as giving us some warmer temperatures and keeping the showers away, but we really do not want to keep them away for too long. But looking long range, we don't see any storms here, at least as we look over the next 7 days. We get some fronts moving through and some of the showers stay north of the state, but the best possibility of seeing a big storm, well, we're not going to see it, at least as we look for the work week. So for tonight, those clouds pushing away across northern Utah, but for central, southern into eastern Utah, as you've been experiencing clear skies, we're going to keep it that way for tomorrow as temperatures will be warmer. So today we're in the low 50s, tomorrow in the upper 50s, 60s though in Provo, and temperatures climbing back into the 40s for Park City down through Price. Again, 60s across central into southern Utah. You're back into the 70s for St. George. So kind of going back to autumn, which we like to see, of course, giving you an opportunity to maybe do some fun activities outdoors or clean up your yard, hang the Christmas lights. Good to go as you'll hold on to the 70s up through Thursday. Now, I mentioned some cool fronts, some clouds coming in, dropping temperatures heading into next weekend. But you're not seeing the raindrops. We'll keep the precipitation away. Northern Utah, it's upper 50s, 60s on Tuesday, mostly sunny skies. It's gorgeous. It's upper 50s on Wednesday. Then those cool fronts come in. They bring in the clouds. They drop the temperatures, maybe producing a mountain shower, but we'll keep the valleys dry. It looks like we'll be back into the 40s, but that's about where we should be for this time of year. Until then, though, we'll keep temperatures above normal and another break from the storms.
Thanks so much, Brock. Still ahead, if you still haven't gotten that $1,200 stimulus check from the feds, well, the clock is ticking. The deadlines you need to know about coming up.
And don't forget, you can always watch Fox 13 News live 24/7 for free on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. Just search for Fox 13 on your streaming device and install it today. We'll be right back.
Thanks so much for joining us tonight. If you are one of the 70,000 Utahns who did not originally get a stimulus check, well, the deadline to request it is coming this week.
Most eligible Americans received their checks automatically during the spring and summer, but those who don't normally file tax returns have to register online. So if you missed the November 21st deadline, you can still get your stimulus money next year after filing your 2020 tax returns.
Saratoga Springs is getting a new liquor store. The Utah Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control, or DABC, is opening a location on North Exchange Drive tomorrow at 11 a.m. It is 11,250 square feet, they say, with wider aisles and an easier checkout experience. The DABC says security was also a big focus in their plans.
Not something you see every day on the streets of Moab, a police officer wrangling a snake. Officer Cordero was on duty yesterday rescuing a snake slithering across a busy intersection, and oh so smooth with it, might I add. Thankfully, both the reptile and law enforcement came away from this unharmed.
Oh boy, yeah.
Nice work.
Pretty brave, just how you grabbed it. Took care of business. Still ahead, hospitals continue to be overwhelmed with COVID patients. We're going to give you an in-depth look at how those on the front lines are dealing with our surge. And the president commenting on the election results this weekend on social media. That plus the latest on the planned transition of power in the Oval Office. Welcome back. Intensive care units and hospitals feeling the pandemic pressure. This week, the number of patients in ICU beds nationwide was at levels not seen since May.
Ashley Sampson spoke with an Intermountain healthcare doctor on the front lines and gives us an in-depth look at the systems hospitals use to give patients the best care during this latest COVID surge.
I still have a lot of connections because of the things I've done in the past. So
Dr. Todd Vento has spent most of his professional life preparing for the worst case scenario. He's an infectious disease specialist who previously worked for the Department of Defense, managing the Ebola outbreak in West Africa. He's since been recruited to fight on the COVID front lines.
When you prepare and live in that world of constantly preparing for a true threat, you do expect that it could happen.
In video provided by Intermountain Healthcare and University of Utah Healthcare, you can see states in the Mountain West are reaching a critical tipping point. The talk of moving to crisis level of care is imminent. One example, the Utah Hospital Association is reporting double the number of COVID patients in hospitals from 2 weeks ago and 5 times the amount of patients from 2 months ago. So what happens at hospitals when numbers surge? The process of load leveling happens first.
Balancing out where the patients are so you don't have one facility that might have 110% of capacity while another facility is at 70%.
A patient management system called Care Traffic Control covers 7 western states. Like other systems in the country, it tells first responders where they can take patients. Next comes contingency care.
And that contingency plan might be an example such as, well, we realize, okay, we're going to need to take care of more COVID patients, so maybe we convert another hospital that can take care of non-COVID patients.
Part of the contingency plan also means canceling non-critical surgeries. And finally, crisis levels of care.
The concept or the term of crisis standards of care really gets down to a similar concept in combat in the military, and I know that may sound harsh, but it's really about triaging.
Meaning doctors will be forced to make tough decisions about who gets care and what that'll look like. As many states smash records of COVID cases, healthcare workers are being stretched thin and asking for help.
It's up to us to allow all of our livelihoods to continue.
I'm Ashley Sampson reporting.
It was close, but President Donald Trump didn't quite concede today on Twitter.
Now that's becoming an issue for President-elect Joe Biden's transition team, who say that they're being denied access to resources they need to plan their response to the pandemic. Fox's David Spunt has the latest for us now from the White House.
President Trump Sunday morning appeared to acknowledge the results of the election, tweeting in reference to Joe Biden, quote, "He won because the election was rigged." But about 20 minutes later, the president tweeted, quote, "I concede nothing. We have a long way to go."
The president's not conceding anything. In fact, what the president was speaking to is the mindset of the media, that they're acting as if Joe Biden has already won. The fact of the matter is states have not yet certified.
The president's legal battles are putting any transition on hold, keeping Team Biden from accessing key intelligence briefings and other resources. Public health experts say the transition stonewalling is of particular concern as the country experiences another surge of COVID-19.
It's almost like passing a baton in a race. You don't want to stop and then give it to somebody. You want to just essentially keep going. And that's what transition is. So it certainly would make things more smoothly if we could do that.
Dr. Anthony Fauci went on to say the president has not attended COVID briefings in months. The president did attend briefings at the start of the pandemic. As for the vaccine, the president said on Friday the majority of Americans should be able to receive it by April, and Dr. Fauci agrees with that timeline. At the White House, David Spunt, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Come Tuesday, election results will be finalized, and we should know who officially won the race for Utah's 4th congressional district. Republican challenger Burgess Owens has held a 2,100 vote lead over Democratic Congressman Ben McAdams, the incumbent. But election officials say some mail-in ballots that were postmarked by November 2nd on that deadline still need to be counted. We'll keep you posted both on air and online on this tight race for Congress.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition.
And there it goes. Always hold your breath a little when those countdowns happen. A full team of NASA astronauts on its way to the International Space Station tonight, courtesy of this SpaceX rocket and spacecraft. Liftoff happened at about 5:30 our time at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The 4 astronauts aboard the Crew Dragon should dock at about 9 p.m. our time Monday. They're set to spend about 6 months there conducting research. NASA hopes this will be the first journey of many in which SpaceX craft shuttle crew to the station.
Well, as we go to a break, I want to share a photo coming in from a viewer. This is Karen Newman. As we looked across northern Utah, we did have a lot of clouds, but there was a break in the clouds. We start the work week off with a lot of break, a lot of blue sky, but those clouds return. They have a chance of bringing any rain or snow. We're going to let you know coming up.
Well, we're well past Halloween now, but Hollywood continuing to put out some scary movies with the release of Freaky.
I haven't seen this one yet. How did the horror comedy do in its debut? Rick Damigella has the box office countdown.
I met a woman. I want to be with her for the rest of my life, without lying about my past.
The Liam Neeson thriller Honest Thief made off with $800,000 this weekend, bringing its 6-week take to $12.4 million.
This is Larry. He isn't from the world you know. Larry just wants a friend.
Come Play skittered back from 2nd to 4th place on ticket sales of $1.1 million.
You're not putting me in a home. What if it were our home? Jenny!
The War with Grandpa yielded no ground this weekend, holding on to 3rd place with $1.3 million.
We're trying to locate a Donnie Weeboy. He married our son's widow. Got our grandson with him.
The Diane Lane Kevin Costner drama Let Him Go fell out of 1st place down to 2nd with $1.8 million.
Honestly, if this was a horror movie, I'd be one of the first ones to get killed. Cue the creepy dude in the mask.
It is a horror movie, and while it didn't make a killing at the box office, Freaky debuted in 1st place, scaring up $3.7 million. The Freaky Friday-esque fright flick stars Vince Vaughn and Catherine Newton as a serial killer and high schooler who unintentionally switch bodies. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Coming up in sports, we'll show you how the locals, Tony Finau and Mike Weir, played on a historic day at the Masters. And Utah State will have a new starting quarterback after Jason Shelley was dismissed from the team.
Thanks for staying with us tonight. There's so many awesome sites here in the state of Utah, and we want to show you some new perspectives of them that you won't see anywhere else.
This one's pretty cool. Fox 13 photojournalist Taylor Murray took the Sky Fox drone just east of Wendover to show us the Tree of Utah. Have you been there? It's part of this latest edition of Utah Elevated.
There could not be a more ideal place on earth to visualize the full spectrum of God's creation of heaven and earth than the spot where Carl Moman was inspired to create the Tree of Utah. Hi, I'm Herman Dutoy, and we're talking about the Tree of Utah. When I first went out to see the tree, I was intrigued because I didn't anticipate finding such a profound statement. He saw this as a metaphor for the tree of life. He said that it was a connection between heaven and earth. Around the tree itself are the piece mold casts that we used, molds that we used to cast the spheres that represent husks for the fruit of the tree. It's remarkable that Carl Moman created an emblem for the tree of life as spoken of in the Book of Mormon. These orbs are representing also not only the planets of our solar system, but also the fruit of the tree. After its construction and its dedication by Governor Bangerter at the time, Carl Moman decided to gift the tree to the state. I would say that people who go out to that site and immerse themselves in the spirit, the quietude, and the immensity, the outreach of that sculpture would be amazed by the impact it has on their spirits.
The Tree of Utah is just so cool, surrounded by the salt flats out there. It really pops on I-80 when you're heading towards the border.
Yeah.
Very unique and a very well done piece there.
Very cool. I know. I've driven by it a million times, it feels like, but I have a whole new perspective now after hearing all about it. Breck, you do that for us, too. You give us a whole new perspective on things, at least when we think we know what's coming with the weather.
Well, we knew that this weekend we would bring kind of a wintry and fall mix in that we had snow initially, we had thunderstorms, we had the rain, we had it all. Today, not too bad, some clouds across northern Utah, but really we've been allowing these storms to exit the state. As we kept skies clear throughout St. George, we're keeping them clear tonight. Your current temperature 49 degrees, winds light. That's what we're seeing down towards southern Utah. Salt Lake City right now, though, we're still holding on to some clouds. Temperatures in the 40s. That's still fairly mild at this hour and at this time of year. Yeah, we're on a warming trend where we saw that today with afternoon highs slightly above normal, but we're moving into a scenario where we're going to see temperatures about 10 degrees above normal, at least as we start the work week off. So a steady climb. Temperatures very pleasant for this time of year, kind of going back to fall as it relates to the temperatures. And we're going to keep the showers away, at least initially. Now, by the middle of the week, we bring some clouds back in. But again, limited precipitation, so any outdoor plans that you have, do it this week. Now, as we take a look at Sky Tracker Doppler radar, no activity central and southern eastern Utah. We see a little bit of lingering activity with that disturbance still holding on just to a few light showers, not much hitting the ground, extreme northern Utah. That'll quickly change here overnight as high pressure. This is the dominating weather feature that we'll be experiencing here over the next several days as it tracks near the Intermountain region, allowing things to warm up, and it will keep the clouds away and it will keep the chance of showers away again as we start this work week off. But by the middle of the week, under this high pressure, we start to see some clouds return. Let's take a look at our computer model. So no concerns for tomorrow. It's sunny, it's clear, it's warmer. But let's start on Tuesday, moving through the next few days as we look at these computer models, trying to see if we see any of that green, which would be rain, blue would be snow. We don't see anything on Wednesday. Thursday, extreme northern Utah, maybe the mountains seeing some light showers. We will see some clouds returning to the Wasatch Front through central Utah. But again, we don't get direct hit. It fizzles out. It doesn't have the energy. It doesn't have the pop. As we move into the weekend, we've got some clouds on Friday. Again, maybe a light mountain shower, but that's why we're saying for the valleys, we are staying dry for the upcoming week. At least that's what models are indicating. And it looks like we'll see some sunny skies. Now, bigger storm kind of lining up next week, a little far out there. We'll keep our eye on that one. So as we look at your hour-by-hour forecast to start things off on your Monday morning, no concerns for the morning commute. Traveling should be just fine. You've got clear skies. We've got temperatures in the upper 30s as they are climbing, already up to 50 degrees by 11 o'clock. Again, that's our average high for this time of year, as we'll see temperatures even up in the upper 50s and even 60s in Provo. We got upper 40s in Vernal and Price, near 60 degrees in Moab. It is clear, it is sunny, and we see that even along the Wasatch Front up through northern Utah. Now, Monday, it's 72. Tuesday, 74 in St. George, mid-70s. You see some clouds. Thursday, Friday, potentially over the weekend. You don't see the rain as temperatures cool off just a little bit as we turn towards next week, Saturday and Sunday. Monday, 58 tomorrow in Salt Lake City. Then it's 60s as we'll keep temperatures above normal. I mentioned those clouds returning. Wednesday, Thursday, those clouds drop temperatures just a little bit with the front moving through. Again, we can maybe see a mountain shower. Valley stays dry. And we'll see 40s back into the forecast. But as I said, your plans to do outdoor activities, your plans to clean up the yard, hang up those Christmas lights, it is good to go here for the next several days as we move away from winter, bring back autumn. We need to bring back the snow or even some rain. We don't see that here for the next 7 days, so enjoy it while it lasts.
Well, the #1 ranked golfer in the world, Dustin Johnson, had a 4-shot lead heading into the final round of the Masters. But could he stay on top to win his first Masters title? Couple of locals in the field. Salt Lake City native Tony Finau. Third shot in the par 3 13th, almost went in for an eagle. He did make the comeback putt for birdie here. Shot an even par 72. Finished tied for 38th at 1 under par. 2003 Masters champion Mike Weir, birdie on the par 3 12th. The former BYU Cougar and Sandy resident shot a final round 76. He tied for 51st at 2 over par. How about Tiger Woods? The defending champion hit 3 shots in the water on the par 3 12th. First, his tee shot here, his third shot as well, and then in the bunker. He hit another one in there. Made the worst score ever on a hole in his professional career with a 10. To his credit, though, birdied 5 of his final 6 holes to finish 1 under par. Now to Dustin Johnson. 4-shot lead was down to 1 when he hit his tee shot on the par 3 6th hole, but that's when he took over. Great shot led to a birdie, then ran out 3 straight birdies on the back 9. First here on the par 5 13th, had to lay up, but still made the party putt. Then on the 14th, took advantage of a 324-yard drive in the middle of the fairway. Attacked the pin, which led to another birdie. He had to lay up on the par 5 15th, but he still had a great look at birdie and rolled it in, becoming the first player ever to get to 20 under par at the Masters. He made par on the 18th to win by 5 shots at 20 under par, lowest score in Masters history. Finally, putting on that green jacket.
Congratulations, Dustin.
Utah State starting quarterback Jason Shelley has been dismissed from the team for violation of team rules. Shelley transferred to Utah, from Utah State to Utah State, that is, to earn the starting quarterback job for the Aggies. He started all 4 games this season. They were all 4 losses. The Aggies' interim head coach Frank Maile said in a statement he will not comment on this matter moving forward. In the NFL, the Broncos took on the Raiders in Las Vegas. 4th quarter, former Utah State Aggie Nevin Lawson rips the ball away, forces the fumble. The Raiders recovered it deep inside the Broncos' 10-yard line. On the next play, it's former Utah Ute Devontae Booker, 7-yard touchdown run. Raiders on top 30-6. Booker added 1 more touchdown run in the 4th quarter against his old team. This one from 23 yards out. The Raiders knocked out the Broncos 37-12. They're 6-3. Alex Smith had his first start since 2018. As Washington took on the Lions, Detroit jumped out to a big lead. Matthew Stafford to Marvin Jones Jr. How about that catch? The Lions led up by 21 in the 3rd quarter, but Smith led the Washington team back in it. Former Ute fired it downfield to Logan Thomas. 27-yard gain to the 11-yard line. Set up this touchdown run by Antonio Gibson. Around the edge and in, tied the score at 24. But the Lions took the lead for good on the field goal on the final play of the game. The Lions won it 30-27. Coming up on the Fox 13 Sports page, we'll hear from Jazz beat writer and for the Sully Tribune, Eric Walden, on what the Jazz will do this week in the NBA draft, plus college football and basketball. More on the Masters and NFL as well at 10:06. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. A high school football game breaks a record scoring number so high that the scoreboard literally could not keep up.
Plus, one of the cutest rescues ever, at least for a group of firefighters down under. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
A pair of high schools made football history in Iowa when they thrilled fans with a playoff game worth a combined 202 scored points. No mercy rule here because both the Remsen St. Mary's Hawks and the Montezuma Braves put in amazing athletic performances, resulting in the highest combined point total in Iowa high school football history. Congrats were in order for both teams, but it was the Hawks who emerged victorious with a final score of 108-94. But since the scoreboard isn't programmed to go that high, the Hawks' score was displayed as infinity. Wow. From footballers on fire to a very chill social distancing idea. A South Dakota winery is using igloos to keep customers separated. The company says the plastic domes have been an idea for years, but the pandemic helped make them a reality. Each igloo seats 6 comfortably and provides a warm haven for wine and beer drinkers on those nippy South Dakota nights. And finally, wait for it. Hello? Take a look at the most adorable rescue ever, which unfolded in Australia when a fire crew was called out to free a kitten that was trapped in a homeowner's wall. They used thermal imaging to find the little guy, then cut a hole and pulled him out. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Well, that's adorable.
Oh, that was really cute.
Breck, what are we looking at for the start of the work week?
Not quite as cute, but not bad as well. Let's take a look outside as we show you. Let's look for tomorrow, though. State forecast, as we're going to be calling for a lot of sunshine and even warmer temperatures than what we found today. We get up in the upper 50s tomorrow in Salt Lake City, low 60s in Provo, central southern Utah, still another sunny day, and we're into the 70s in St. George. Now let's take a look at your 7-day forecast. First for southern Utah, it's nice, it's clear, it's sunny all the way up until the middle of the week. Now we bring in some clouds Thursday and Friday, cool temperatures down just a little bit heading into the weekend. but we're keeping the rain away. Now for northern Utah, we climb to the 60s by Tuesday as we'll keep it dry for the next 7 days. So an opportunity to hang up those Christmas lights here over the next few days.
All right, thanks so much, Breck. And thanks for watching Fox 13 News at 9. Quick Cast coming up next, and then Sports Page right after that.